All right, viewers, those are the headlines and our top focus. Now, following the announcement of the implementation of the first phase of the Gaza peace plan, U.S. President Donald Trump has held a phone call with the families of hostages and former hostages. During the call, President Trump assured that the remaining hostages would be back home as early as Monday. The families were happy with the announcement and are hopeful for the return of their loved ones. This comes as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is to hold a crucial meeting of the Security Cabinet and his government for signing of the agreement, which is slated to take place very, very soon. Once the agreement is signed, the impact on the ground would commence. Listen in to snippets of the conversation between Trump and the family members of the hostages.
President Trump, you have the best crowd in the world. What do you guys have to say to President Trump?
Thank you.
You did it!
You did it!
Thank you! Thank you!
This is amazing. Mr. President, we believe in you. We know you've done so much for us over the past, since you became a president, and even before that. And we trust you fulfill the mission until every hostage, every 48 of the hostages are home. Thank you so much. Blessed be the peacemakers.
God bless you, Mr. President. God bless America.
Thank you very much. You just take care of yourselves. The hostages will come back. They're all coming back on Monday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Have fun. So long. Goodbye.
With us on the broadcast is Mr. Yossi Cooper-Wasser, Israeli intelligence and security expert, joining us from Tel Aviv. So we've just heard the cheers of the families of the hostages who've been holding on for hope for the last 2 years regarding the fate of their loved ones. Trump has stated that the hostages are likely to return on Monday. What's the mood on the ground like?
Well, there's a lot of joy and anticipation for this to take place very soon. We were waiting for 2 years now, exactly 2 years, for the hostages to come back. And we are ready to pay a heavy price to make sure that they are coming back. But the price we have were asked to pay according to this agreement is reasonable compared with unreasonable prices that Hamas demanded until recently. And we have to thank first of all our military for the operation they carried out in the Gaza city that clarified to Hamas what is the price they are going to pay if they are not going to conclude the deal. And we have to thank President Trump, who orchestrated this entire move, and also Qatar and Turkey and Egypt for putting pressure on Hamas to sign the deal. So altogether, we are just about to receive the hostages that we were waiting for so long.
Indeed, sir. And do you think now with the first phase finally being implemented, it paves the path for lasting peace?
Well, it's too early to speak about lasting peace. It's this plan has many stages and many phases, and each one of them is vague. Just as this first phase was a little bit vague, and we overcome and clarified what's going to take place exactly. The rest of the stages are also not totally clear. We shall have to discuss these matters with Hamas indirectly. And the role of the United States and Qatar and Turkey and Egypt is going to be very important in these coming stages. If we manage to convince Hamas to lay down their arms and allow Palestinian technocrats supported by international stabilization force to take responsibility for Gaza, and then we shall move a little bit farther from where we are today, withdraw a little bit more, but keep control of the borders of Gaza. Then there is a chance that we shall start moving towards further stabilization and further moderation of the situation in the Middle East. And we shall see some normalization of relationship between Israel and its neighbors, and maybe even beyond its neighbors. There are potential moves vis-a-vis Indonesia and other places. So it's for optimism, but very, careful optimism.
And cautious. All right, sir, requesting you to stay on with us. We're tracking some reactions that are pouring in from around the world following the announcement of the peace plan. We're learning that European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen has stated that the peace plan is a significant breakthrough. She has welcomed the agreement to secure the release of the hostages and the withdrawal of the Israeli troops from Gaza. This is significant for Europe, as in recent months, the recognition of a Palestinian state by several Western powers may have had a profound impact on this agreement, is what she's had to say. Meanwhile, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has hailed the plan as well, stating that it is time to support the civilian population in Gaza. Remember, Spain was amongst the most vocal critics of Israeli operations, calling for humanitarian aid to, in fact, be distributed. Additionally, one of the mediators, Turkish President, to be specific, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, has also commented he is pleased with the negotiations and has stated that Turkey will be closely monitoring the strict implementation of the agreement and will continue to contribute to the process. Meanwhile, the Palestinian Authority's President Mahmoud Abbas has also welcomed the deal in Gaza. At the same time, a British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who is currently in India, has stated that this deal is a moment of profound relief. That's not all. French President Emmanuel Macron has also expressed his optimism over this deal, stating that a two-state political solution is in sight post this agreement. Meanwhile, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also reacted, praising Netanyahu's leadership and the fact that this deal has now been realized. Still with us on the broadcast is Mr. Yossi Cooper-Wasser. We've seen a lot of reactions coming in. Interestingly, the president of the Palestinian Authority has also come out in support, but we do know that there are tensions between the different factions governing Palestine at the moment. What challenges do you foresee in reconciling these different Palestinian factions, especially Hamas and the Palestinian Authority, within the framework of this plan down the line?
Well, first of all, we see a lot of positive reactions to the deal coming from people who worked hard to make sure that this deal is not reached, like President Macron, like the head of the European Union, like the British Prime Minister. They did everything they could in order to prevent this deal from coming into signing. It's unbelievable to see how hypocrite these people can be. It's this idea of recognizing a Palestinian state was just an obstacle that we had to overcome on the way to the deal. So to hear them blessing and saying how great the deal is really ridiculous. Same, by the way, for the Palestinian Authority. They understand that they are not going to have a role in this new situation in Gaza, because they have to go through a reform that they have no intention to implement. And that's a pity. But the relations with Hamas are going to be strained anyhow, because they hate each other. And Hamas wants to leverage this deal in order to become the most important player in the Palestinian constituency and on the expense of Fatah, of Abu Mazen. So I don't see that this is going to lead to much stronger relations, better relations between Hamas and Fatah. Although on the surface they might speak as if they are going to have some sort of reconciliation, but in fact I don't see this reconciliation taking place.
All right, so I request you to continue to be with us on the broadcast. We're tracking some further updates. We're now learning that Gazans in Khan Yunis have celebrated the ceasefire deal outside Nasser Hospital. Locals have cheered, they've waved their flags, gathered in their streets. Residents have thanked the leaders and mediators, including President Trump, Egypt and Qatar, for ending the bloodshed. Now, despite their loss, people have expressed their joy and hope for peace. Many have stated that the ceasefire has brought relief to the Gaza Strip. Listen in.
الحمد لله اليوم أعلن الرئيس ترامب إنه الحرب وقفت، وإحنا والله كتير مبسوطين إنه الحرب وقفت، وهذا إشي مفرح والله إلنا، وبنشكر إخواننا أي حد ساهم ولو بالكلام عن إنه يوقف هذا الحرب ووقف شلال الدماء، ونشكر باقي إخواننا في مصر وقطر على هذه الجهود لإيقاف هذه الحرب.
طبعا الحمد لله على وقف اطلاق النار ووقف شلال الدماء والقتل، وطبعا مش انا بس لحالي فرحان، كل قطاع غزه فرحان، بل كل الشعب العربي كل العالم فرحان بوقف اطلاق النار ووقف شلال الدماء، كل الشكر والحب للي وافقوا معنا ووقفوا معنا وساهموا بوقف شلال الدماء، وكل الحب لكم من القطاع.
فالحمد لله برغم الجراح ورغم الإبادات التي صارت بنا والفقدان الأحبة والأقارب، لا زلنا اليوم مبسوطين وبفرحة كبيرة بسبب وقف إطلاق النار، والحمد لله رب العالمين. فرغم الحزن طبعا وفقدان، يعني من قيمة كم يوم برضو فقدت أولاد عمي وأصحابي، ومن قيمة أسبوع تقريبا فقدت يعني عندي أغلى ما أملك برضو جدي الله يرحمه، ولكن نزلنا اليوم برضو.
Still with us on the broadcast is Mr. Yossi Kuperwasa. We've seen both Palestinians and Israelis from either side of the border come out and celebrate this peace deal. They've all hoped that it could lead to lasting peace. But speaking of the past, we've seen certain attempts being made earlier as well. What lessons can be learned from previous efforts when implementing this plan?
I think the most important lesson is that we need to make sure that this is not, we don't stop at the short-term ceasefire and the exchange of hostages for prisoners, for terrorists that are going to be released from Israeli jail. What needs to happen is to see that the plan entirely is being implemented, and this includes the disarmament of Hamas and the changes that are supposed to take place in Gaza according to the plan, and they should be put in place, because otherwise we are going to go back to fighting within a couple of months or so. This is something that we have to learn from previous ceasefires and stops and exchanges. If it's not followed by a more profound change on the ground, and we have to remember that the plan that President Trump came up with starts with emphasizing the importance of de-radicalization of Gaza. That's the most important thing. And we have to see that this really happens on the ground, because otherwise there's going to be another war.
All right, so with that, I would like to thank you for taking out time, sharing your perspective with us on NewsX World. With that, viewers, we're shifting focus away